Well, good morning and welcome in. Happy Sunday morning to all of you, or whatever time of day, whenever you are looking in at this video share from me. I'm Reverend Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna, and so happy to be with you here today. Did you get your booklet? What little booklet am I talking about? Well, hopefully they were here last week, and hopefully you were here last week and got the little booklet titled Mornings with Myrtle. And I want you to have that and go through it. You don't have to have it for this message today, but it's something that you'll want to commit to going through. Set the intention to spend that time with Myrtle Fillmore, Unity co-founder. So this talk this morning is really based on Myrtle Fillmore and some of the things we find in that little booklet I had sent to the church. So I'm calling it Mornings with Myrtle, Living from the Inside Out. Another way we approach this positive path for spiritual living. So again, good morning. And I want to welcome you today and thank you for joining in. Thank you for being here and taking part of this very special message today, this message from the heart and spiritual depth of one of our beloved Unity co-founders, Myrtle Fillmore. So today I want to speak to you from the wisdom shared in Mornings with Myrtle. This little collection is packed with spiritual riches, gentle reminders that healing, healing and transformation and spiritual clarity are not distant goals, but present realities available to us when we turn within. This has been a very popular book that was published early this year, and we've been distributing them all over the world. Myrtle Fillmore was not only a trailblazer in spiritual healing, but also a model of daily devotion to inner work and communion with the divine. Her writings speak to a quiet power, the kind that doesn't shout or insist, but gently awakens us to the presence of God within. So let's explore today what it means to truly live from the inside out, a phrase Myrtle didn't always use directly, but most certainly lived by. We'll look at three spiritual keys from her teachings that we can each apply right now in our modern day lives. So we'll take a look at spiritual healing is an inside job. Number two, communion with God begins in stillness, in the silence. And three, speak life, live truth, and let love radiate. Sound good? All right, let's take a look at number one, my first point here. Spiritual healing is an inside job. Myrtle Fillmore's healing journey is the foundational story of unity. After being diagnosed with tuberculosis and given very little hope, she embarked on a personal spiritual experiment. She had heard some lectures, some New Thought lectures about healing and about this divinity that we all have within, that we all have the potential to live from. And so she proceeded to speak lovingly to her body. She affirmed her wholeness and claimed divine life as her truth. And as we know, she experienced a full healing, not by rejecting medical care, but by claiming spiritual identity over physical appearances. Again, by claiming spiritual identity over physical appearances. One of her most profound realizations was this: I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness or disease. Let me say that again, because this is the foundation that unity sprang from. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness or disease. So let's pause and just sit with that for a moment. Not as a lofty ideal, but as a declaration of truth, a declaration of our truth, my truth, your truth. Myrtle didn't say this because she was in denial. She said it as an affirmation of her divine origin. She affirmed the higher law. She spoke to her body with reverence and love, not about it in fear or despair. And this, my friends, is our first lesson. Healing begins with identity. If you see yourself as broken, lacking, unworthy, you reinforce limitations. But if you affirm your true nature, spiritual, whole, radiant, you begin to express that truth more fully. And this is really coming down to our first two unity principles. It's affirming our principles over and over and over again. And remember, healing, the origin of healing really means wholeness, all of us. So we heal relationships, we heal our our prosperity consciousness, and all these things go with it, and our health and physical well-being. Think about our first two principles. If healing begins with identity, what's our first unity principle say? There is only one presence and one power and one mind, one life, active as the universe, and my life, God the good. Wow. Healing begins with identity. And our second unity principle says, our essence, my essence, your essence is of God. Therefore, we are inherently good. We are inherently whole. This God essence, called the Christ, was fully expressed in Jesus, our master teacher, our model, demonstrator, way shower, all of that. Healing begins with identity. That's why I drill on these principles all the time, because we need to affirm them hundreds of times and step into that identity. This is not metaphysical escapism. It's spiritual mastery. It's a call to live from the inside out, to let the reality of God within us inform every thought, every word, and cell of our being. Myrtle reminds us that divine life is not something to chase. This isn't a chase. We're not trying to catch something. It's something to accept and embody. Healing flows when we come into agreement with this inner truth. All right, number two, communion with God. This realization of the God presence begins in stillness, in the silence. One of the recurring themes in Mornings with Myrtle is the call to stillness. Myrtle's writings reflect a deep trust in what can only be heard when we quiet the mind and center the heart. She says in one of her morning meditations, go into the secret place of the Most High and commune with God. Know that God is the health of your body, the joy of your heart, and the clarity of your mind. I think that's so beautiful. I can just hear her words and her gentle way, having just come from Unity Village not too long ago and feeling her energy and her presence. Go into the secret place of the Most High and commune with God. Know that God is the health of your body, the joy of your heart, and the clarity of your mind. Myrtle knew that daily spiritual practice, simple, quiet moments of prayer and meditation, were not optional extras. They were the fuel for living a spirit led life. How many of us just rush through our mornings already stressed before our feet even hit the floor, before we even had breakfast? Myrtle offers a different model. Begin each day with a conscious choice to turn within, to listen, to anchor into the stillness, into the silence, the divine presence. Anchor into that. And here's the beauty of Myrtle's practice. It wasn't about long hours or fancy rituals. It was about sincerity, faithfulness, loyalty to the practice, a simple act of turning inward and saying, "Here I am, Lord. I am listening." We talked about that in the understanding talk. This stillness that we talk about isn't empty, it's filled with guidance. In the quiet, Myrtle found instruction, inspiration, understanding, direction, guidance for her work. And so can we, each and every one of us. So I ask you, how can you build more quiet moments into your day? Just pushing back, pausing, taking a breath, even 5 minutes of conscious stillness can change the tone of your entire day. Why? Because in that space, we reconnect with our source. And we're going to do this through a little I know you did meditation already, but we're going to do this through a little meditation I built into this message here today. But first, number 3, speak life, live truth, and let love radiate. One of Myrtle Fillmore's great spiritual tool was her word. She believed in speaking truth into her life and into the lives of others. Not merely positive affirmations, but sacred declarations aligned with spiritual law. She taught that words are not neutral, they carry spiritual weight. When you speak words of love, strength, wholeness, and truth, you are aligning yourself with divine mind. Myrtle wrote letters filled with healing energy. She prayed with intention. People came all over to pray with Myrtle, to have Myrtle pray, to hear her pray, to learn how she prayed. And she prayed with intention. She used affirmations, not as wishes, but as statements of reality. She once said, "Let us use our words to speak health, prosperity, love, and peace. Let us bless and praise until the world is filled with light." My friends, that's not just spiritual poetry, it's a leadership practice. As individuals seeking to be vessels of transformation, we have to ask, what are we radiating? Right? I mean, our fifth unity principle comes to mind here. Through thoughts, words, and actions. Actions is radiating this. This is model. This is in sales, we would call this becoming a product of the product, but we are living our truth. We are radiating our truth. We are speaking our truth. We are using our words, our thoughts, our words, our actions to align with the divine presence. In our families, our workplaces, our communities, We have to ask ourselves, are we speaking life or are we repeating fear? And I invite you just to step back as an observer, not being over critical, but just take a look at the words you've been using. So many of us wear conditions as badges of honor. Oh, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. Oh, yeah, you could never guess what I went through. And we talk about it and we fuel the story, the temporary experience. To live from the inside out is to live consciously, to deliberately and intentionally choose our words, to monitor the emotional tone of our speech. Remember, it's feeling is the secret. It is ours to be bringers of calm instead of chaos, and that's to ourselves and to others. Let me offer you this. Your spiritual understanding is not measured by how much you know, but by how much you radiate. You want to step into this knowingness that God is your unfailing and all providing source of all good, and you are made of God. You are the Christ of God. And Myrtle was radiant. She led quietly, but powerfully through the steady vibration of truth and love. She modeled and demonstrated truth. So let's follow her example and speak life, live truth, and let your love be felt in the silence between your words. The spiritual path that Myrtle took was not about withdrawing from the world. So we want to get that straight. We're not withdrawing from anything. It's about meeting the world from a deeper center and being rooted and grounded in that center. So let's take a look at 3 sustaining practices you can begin at once that will help you do all of this. 1, daily silence and stillness, as I mentioned earlier. Spirit speaks in a whisper. If our inner world is cluttered with noise, we may miss the guidance that's trying to reach us. It's there. It's there. Make a sacred appointment with silence. Schedule time. Use a planner. Whatever it is that you use, schedule time. Make an appointment, whether it's 5 minutes in the morning or a quiet moment before bed. Enter that secret place of the Most High. Not to get something, but just to be with God, to be with your essence. You don't have to do anything in the silence, just be. You may not hear words, but you will feel peace. And from that peace, you will move more wisely in the world. All right, number 2, something else you can do, because I'm all about application and action. What is it? How does it work? What can it do for me? Affirmations of truth is another application you can make to your life. I can't stress this enough. You hear me say this in every single talk, over and over and over again. Words have power. When we declare truth, we plant seeds of awareness that grow and shape our experience. Use affirmations like, I live, move, and have my being in God. I am independent of outer circumstances. I live from the inside out. Speak them not to convince, but to awaken, because this is your truth. Speak them until they feel true, because they are true. But that feeling, that emotional tone is the secret. Speak them over and over and over and over again. Feel the truth in them, then move into that energetically, and then speak them again. Third thing you can do is practice spiritual discernment. At every fork in the road, at every condition, everything that comes up, because stuff happens, just pause and ask, is my next step, is my next thought, is my next word, is my next move coming from fear or from faith? Is it coming from ego or from spirit? Am I moving from fear or faith, from ego or from spirit? One of my very favorite quotes comes from Catherine Ponder. She said, I have unshakable faith in the perfect outcome of every situation in my life, for God is in absolute control. The more we listen inwardly, the more clearly we hear. So let's continue and let's move forward. Lost my track here for just a moment. I just want to reflect on these for a moment, these morning meditations of Myrtle Fillmore. We're reminded when we look to this little booklet that you have up there, we're reminded that the path of spiritual mastery is not complicated. It's not loud. It's not showy. It's simply this. Know who you are. Remember, it starts with identity. Trust God within you. Speak from truth, not fear. Let your life, your daily life, become your prayer. That's praying ceaselessly. In Mornings with Myrtle, we hear the voice of a woman who truly walked the talk, not perfectly, but consistently. A woman who met sickness with faith, who greeted every day with the assurance of God's presence, and who quietly empowered thousands and still is with her silent strength. So let us follow her lead. Let us begin each morning listening in the silence, aligning with spirit, and choosing to live, not from reaction, but from realization of our true identity. May this be your prayer today. I am one with divine life. Say that with me. I am one with divine life. I am rooted in peace. I am rooted in peace. I live from the inside out. I live from the inside out. Let that be your truth. Amen. And so it is. Now I'm going to pause here for just a moment because I'd like to do a gentle meditation, but I will let you decide if there is time to do that. I wasn't really keeping track of time, and I know you've done one earlier. So you can choose to end this video now, and I'll say, see you next time. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you, and I behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Or with me, you can move forward with this meditation I've called From the Inside Out, based on the teachings of Myrtle Fillmore. Let's take a deep breath together. Gently close our outer eyes. Begin to draw your awareness inward now. This is your time, your sacred moment to rest in spirit. There's nothing to fix, nothing to figure out. Only the invitation to return to the place of peace within you. Feel the body gently settling, shoulders softening, jaw unclenching, letting your face soften too. Not controlling the breath, just breathing, flowing to its natural rhythm. Allow the silence to be your sanctuary. Myrtle Fillmore reminded us that healing, peace, and understanding are not things we chase. They are qualities of spirit already planted in the soil of your soul. We simply pause, become still, and remember. So in this quiet place, say inwardly, I am one with divine life. I live from the inside out. God within me is my source of understanding. Now let these words settle gently into your heart. You are whole. You are guided. You are not alone. The Spirit of God is alive in you now and always. As Myrtle taught, the Comforter is here. In this stillness, you receive what no book or teacher can give you, the inner knowing, the peace that passes all understanding, the sacred whisper, be still and know that I am God. Let that be enough for now. Stay with the breath a few more moments, grateful, centered, open. And when you're ready, take a deep, grounding breath. Begin to bring gentle movement back to the body. Wiggle the fingers and toes. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. You are renewed. You are light. You are loved. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen. This is Reverend Dr. Stephen J. Kosmyna wishing you, each and every one of you, an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.